Welcome to the cryptocurrency report for today, which is Thursday, May 11th, 2023, new line. Here is our disclaimer and warning, new line. And I have an apology and a confession to make, new line. Yesterday, the backup video on YouTube was been removed because I said in its beliefs and thinking that I gave medical misinformation. They say it's disappointing, but they believe I said something different that contradict expert consensus from local health authorities or the World Health Organization. Full stop, new line. For that I am truly sorry, and I apologize for my freedom of thought, YouTube. I am sorry, mea culpa. I am sorry, new line. Here's the disclaimer and warning, new line. I promise not to put up New Zealand health statistics that may infer that people over the ages of 60 are dying in larger numbers and that they were vaccinated in larger numbers in New Zealand. I apologise for saying that information. New line. BTC USD Bitcoin, we have seen it lurking. We have a target at 26,436 that I've been discussing, which would put it at a 1-to-1 on the downside, new line. Is this an ABC to the downside, or is this the start of a whole new hell trend to the downside, question mark. Seasonally, you may think yes, new line. Pattern wise, we didn't think so, given the way that it was shaping. New line. At the moment, what I can say is it hasn't closed below the old low of 26,981, full stop, new line. We still don't recommend buying lots of cryptos, and the volume is certainly looking a little bit more unappealing, new line. BTC AUD, new line. Bitcoin versus the Australian dollar. We've been hoping to buy at $39,791, but the Aussie dollar seems to have been a little bit more reluctant to go lower against Bitcoin, or at least Bitcoin's reluctant to go lower against it, new line. Against the Aussie dollar, new line. So from the forecast, we've been thinking Bitcoin could be weaker, but pattern-wise, it still could be pushing a little bit higher later in a fourth wave pattern. New line. At the moment, we are still waiting to buy at 39,791. Let's just test whether it got filled in this exchange. Yes, we actually are filled in that exchange, if you did go long. So let's say we're entered, and we're entered on this one on the 11th of the 5th, 2023. New line. You may still wait. My order's still at $38,888 to buy some that I sold higher up. New line. Matic AUD, new line, wants to buy. We want to buy a break above 1.4980, and Matic is probably around about 1.24, so that's not in play. New line. ETH USD Ethereum, new line. We're hoping to buy at 1696 on the downside. and that's not happening at the moment, so we will hang around with our orders, twiddling our thumbs. New line. New line. ADA AUD new line. New line. Buy a break above 0.555 if you like it, looking for 0.5719. It's kind of not all that flattering to its ego. New line. It's been hit a bit. New line. I don't think we can think too much about it. One thing that might be cheaper is the Monero new line. XMR USD Monero new line. You can see that it's been a bit stronger against Bitcoin for a while, so maybe you switch back into that one. Notice the volume is growing, so possibly this will switch on. It's rising volume with a rally. So if anything's going to take off, it should be Monero versus Bitcoin new line. If you played with that, have a stop loss at 0.0054 parts per Bitcoin. New line. There be nothing more interesting. Let's move on to the Forex new line, unless there's any questions. New line. Welcome to the Forex Speed webinar for Thursday, May 11th, 2023. Here is our disclaimer and warning. New line. We have long-term bullhorns warnings in nothing. We have short-term bullhorns warnings in nothing. We have long-term bear pause warnings in EUR, USD and USD CAD, new line. We have short-term bear pause warnings in USD JPY, new line. I'd love to know where my data is. 1 second. This is weird. I can't see my charts. I can't even see where it's hiding. This is weird. Completely odd. it a different way. I'm just not getting any charts up. Yeah, I got blue screen. I'm just not getting any charts up. Here we go. My e-signal's not working for some reason. Okay, this just can't pick it. It's thoroughly weird what's going on here. See if I can kill e-signal and then it can revive itself. It says it's working, but it's not. Not in my eyes. So it wants to do an update. Why don't we do some live data? And then it wants to update. The problem is, okay, not happy jam. Let's see if I can get this chart back up. New line. These signals doing my head in. Oh, there it is. It's coming back up. That's good. New line. US dollar index DX. New line. To Friday. Okay, so my data's a little bit. There we go. Got some data. New line. US dollar index DX. New line. We can see it's picked itself up. We have been hoping to sell around 102.5. New line. Last night, the producer price index indicated that inflation was slowing and prices were dropping 0.5% here and fish and 1.5% for eggs or something like that. Still from very high levels, at high costly things and small drops, but nonetheless a little bit less inflation. In spite of that, or prior to that information coming out, the Bank of England added 0.25% interest rates to interest rates in the UK. Right. Maybe that's what they were hoping for. We'll still maintain our sell order at 102.5, new line. Let's look at the GBP USD, new line, GBP USD, new line. And we saw it break down, and we didn't have an order on our PHG trades, did we, for that? It was more the euro, if I remember correctly, we were looking to short. Okay, new line. So we'll keep those orders in the dollar index, new line. EUR USD, new line. We wanted to sell a breakdown below 1.093, new line. And that worked so far. We're a little bit in profit, but not terribly exciting. And we've been entered on that breakdown. New line. At the moment, I think we can drop our stop to 1.11. New line. NZD USD, new line. Currently we are long. We've had basically 1.5 150 pips profit on this if we get stopped out. I suspect we will be stopped out soon. New line. We have been stopped out. Exclamation mark for a profit. -5-23. New line. AUD USD, new line. Yesterday we noticed the Aussie was up near old tops. We thought it was a bit of a risk. We talked about a bit of hedging, and it got whacked. It also was on a 1-to-1, so its whacking was a good thing. Looking down towards 65.5 cents, new line. I didn't get around to buying some US dollars yesterday, which was a bit stupid of me. New line. So I'm travelling soon, so anyway. New line, just didn't have time. I can't tell you what happened at the motor registry yesterday, just unbelievable. New line. USD CAD, new line. The dollar CAD is kind of bouncing around. It's got down to the double bottom, so we'll probably expect a double top. 1.3668 area you should expect to get to. Stop loss at 1.335, new line. USD JPY, new line. Nothing interesting to say, new line. USD CHF, new line. Getting into a bit of overhead resistance, really needs to get above 90 or 0.9 to look towards 0.9119, new line. New line. Welcome to the Commodities Speed Webinar for Thursday, May 11th, 2023. New line. Here is our disclaimer and warning. New line. We have long-term bear pause warnings in cocoa, feeder cattle, live cattle, Sugar, 30-year bonds, new line. We have short-term bear pause warnings in sugar, new line. We have long-term bullhorns warnings in corn, crude oil, cotton, lean hogs, natural gas, oats, palladium, rapeseed oil, soybean notes, 2-year notes, 5-year notes and 10-year notes, as well as wheat, new line. We are going to be tracking for a wheat trade. I've mentioned the targets for quite some time, new line. We can also see short-term bullhorns warnings in corn, copper, gold, Kansas wheat, soybean meal, oats, soybeans and wheat, new line. New line. Now we bought some crude oil on the downside at $68.56. We never got filled on the lower orders, but stock is now at $69.86. Crude oil has been weaker according to the news headlines, new line. Let's see if that's true, new line. Crude oil, new line. It's hovering around a little bit. We haven't been stopped out. I think we'll leave that order as is. The news is certainly a little bit different. We're talking about $68. So the news isn't quite the things that we're trading, new line. Heating oil, new line. Heating oil has backed off a little bit, nothing really to say here. We are long heating oil. Stop is at 2.27, and it's in the July contract. We can run the stop loss up to 2.289. Doesn't put it quite at break even yet. New line. Natural gas, we are long with the stop loss at 2.22. And that's in the July contract that we're in, and it's still hovering around, not really doing anything. I'm inclined to bring the stop up to 2.26. Currently long at 2.23. We missed out on our dip to buy at 2.08. New line. Silver, we're long with a stop loss at $25.44. New line. And we took profit. We were stopped out. Stopped out, exclamation mark, for a profit at $25.44 on the 11th-5-23. It was a small profit. We got in at our best at $24.99 and our worst at $25.17, new line. Cocoa, we're looking to sell at 32.68. I doubt whether we got close to that yesterday. New line. I've been saying that the food prices are going down, and look at that. The CPI numbers and the PPI numbers all started to confirm that when we saw the fruit and vegetable results last night in the US, new line. You can often see these things in the futures markets before you see them in the actual numbers that these public servants produce, new line. New line. Now that the news is out, I wonder if we get a bounce, question mark. Corn, new line. Corn, we can have a stop loss at $5.75 if long. My preference is for this to go lower, new line. Soybean oil, new line. New line. Soybean oil continued to fall. I expect it probably under 50. New line. Soybeans, new line. We went long soybeans and we exited gracefully, and they looked as if they backed off. I must say, I think $13.80 was a bit of a target area, but more likely down towards $13.55. That sort of area makes more sense for me. New line. Wheat, new line. At the moment, wheat is still a bit dead. Still looking for those lower targets I've mentioned previously. New line. Let's have a flick through to gold. New line. Gold, new line. Now, with lower inflation, gold becomes a little bit less inspiring. New line. What we saw last night was gold actually make a new high, or at least retest the old top. New line. So here we have the highest high that was ever done, 2089.4 if I can remember correctly. Let's go back and make sure I'm not just talking wrong. Yeah, there we go, 2889.9, and it popped an old top, and some people would have been buying and they would have been disappointed today by it backing off. So here's the 20. I think you'll find 1980 is the right target. So we've been staying away a bit from gold. Well, a couple of little gold stocks which got into cheap areas you might think about. But generally gold is a little bit of a no-no for us. Silver also is falling away a bit as well. You might. We looked at the energies, looked at silver, new line. Let's look at some foodstuffs and softs, new line. Cotton, new line. That's weak. Leave alone. New line. Cocoa, have a stop loss at 29.73. We're still hoping for a sell up towards 32.68. If you are long, then have this manage your stop losses accordingly. New line. Orange juice, new line. This is contributing to lower inflation after being rip-roaring. At the moment, it looks like it's probably down towards 230 on the downside, maybe even deeper. New line. Coffee, new line. This is all, we're looking at lumber. Lumber is also showing signs, massive signs of deflation. Having so many immigrants come across the border, and it looks like there will be a lot of violence on the border. Because if these people are really poor and they've paid all of this money to the people smugglers, and I guess the people smugglers send some sort of kickbacks back to government officials and the Biden regime. But these people who have got a debt, if they've got a debt and they can't get into the border, there'll be riots because they'll be desperate and they'll also be looking for food. So this removal of Title 42 and then Biden's backtrack Biden back to what Trump's policy has left massive amounts of immigrants who are expecting to go across the border because they believe Joe Biden will let them into America and May August will let them in. If they don't, it could be very ugly. Now, admittedly, these people don't have any arms, as in weapons, but they do have arms and legs as well. So it's going to be very interesting flashpoint, and I don't think the American government is equipped to deal with this. And the Mexican government's probably not that happy to have to deal with it. They just let them go through. I've got plenty of friends who live in Mexico, and Mexico's one of the nicest places in the world to live at the moment. Just the migrants come through the people smugglers, new line. So those debts the little kids have, and when they have to go into sex trafficking or work as slaves in Democrat voting households, the mega rich is or work just as slaves for companies, is scary what might happen when people are faced with having spent their life savings to get across the border, and then they're not allowed. New line. Sugar, new line. Sugar continued its rage. We did think that was going to happen. $28.67 is possible on a break above $26.81. Stop loss below $24.76. New line. 30-year bonds, new line. Now, it's been up, down, turn it around. I've been thinking about what to do with this. I think if inflation is dropping, then bonds prices should fall unless the government really wants to hurt people. But a close above 132 and 30 seconds looks for 138 and 230 seconds. If you're buying it, have a stop loss below 129 and 26 30 seconds, new line. New line. New line. Welcome to the World Indices for Thursday, 11th of May 2023. New line. Here is our disclaimer and warning. New line. We have short-term bear pause warnings in 285. US OEX stocks was 301. New line. We have short-term bull horns warnings in 446. US OEX stocks was 386. And notable ones are Alibaba, and the other notable is the E-mini S&P. New line, which is the futures contract. New line. New line. New line. Dow Jones Transportation Average, new line. The Dow Transports continues to be a little bit sloppy and choppy. This is not unexpected. New line. New line. Dow Jones Industrial Average, new line. This had a good slip slide, and I would have thought that a lower inflation would have made it happier, but obviously not. New line. Notice the increasing volume as prices falling. So my 32,510 target is still feasible. New line. New line. S&P 500 cash index, new line. This is a different picture, an inside day. These markets are quite different for whatever reason. Look at the volume is reasonable. So my theory that it could go down to 4088 or 4042 or up to 4200 still applies. It's still in a big range, new line. New line. I haven't put down that I will do a forecast on Monday night because I did the mini forecast, and I think that I might do an update, but it might be a recorded one just when it suits me rather than doing a public performance. New line. That'll be posted to the profithunters.com.au website. New line. E-mini S&P, new line. New line. A breakdown below 4112 leads to 4062, new line. A break up above 4177 leads to my preferred target area of 4200 to 4206, new line. You could bracket the market either way, new line. New line. Mark's saying he, for a couple of reasons, he thinks something should happen soon, maybe a low, and I tend to agree with, I'd like to see, I think I was saying at the start of the week that we're running out of time for the bearish phase for the next probably 2 or 3 weeks. We should see a bit of strength and then some issues. New line. E-mini S&P internals, new line. One moment, I just need to train my dragon. Dragon's been playing up today. E-mini S&P, E-mini S&P, E-mini S&P, E-mini S&P. At the moment, this is the internals. We'll do a 60-minute chart, see what's what in there. New line. Let's see a little nice retracement. It was really a nothing burger day. A break below 4130 leads to 4103. Break above 4160 leads to 4171. New line. That's about all I can say on that one. There's nothing really informative. New line. New line. E-mini S&P internals, 5-minute charts. New line. Now we're talking. There's a few 1-to-1s. Now these types of ranges are also off the floor. Traders are absent. We can see that the floor traders have just been trading between themselves as short-term traders. Nothing really there, full stop, new line. The PPI numbers certainly gave food for thought in the longer run. And as I was explaining in the commodity section, we were quite clearly seeing deflationary prices in a lot of the food commodities and a lot of the building commodities. So we've been thinking inflation has been backing off for a while. New line. And I would have thought that would have caused the market to come out of balance, but it's still in balance for the E-mini S&P. New line. New line. Nasdaq, new line. We've been targeting around the 13,400 area. It has finally arrived and it is a short, new line. Let's short the Nasdaq. Right now. At 13,452. We will do the June contract. We'll do 1/3. $13,452. We'll do 1/3 at 13,463. Stop loss will be at 13,550. Target on the downside will be 12,834. New line. And sorry, I've messed this up. Yeah, 13,550 is the stop loss. Thinking about two different things with all this transcript stuff. Wait a second, this doesn't make sense. $13,834 is the stop. We want to sell to 13,464. 3, sorry. Don't know where that was going with that, and 12,834 is the target. Entered and potential. New line. Please refer to the PHG trades table as I've messed up the transcript a little bit. New line. Volatility index, the VIX, new line. We've been looking to buy some volatility. We'll continue to wait. We might get that tonight in as the volatility gets sold off for the weekend, new line. Usually drops a bit overnight, new line. German DAX, new line. A bit of an interesting pattern here. It couldn't get above that old top. Remember, the European stocks, Euro stocks, has been weaker than the German DAX. This gets ugly below 15,711, so have a stop loss there if you are long and hoping for 16,088, which is feasible, new line. Euro Stoxx 50, new line. Have a break at breakdown at 42.81, looking for 42.47, new line. New line. UK FTSE, new line. Hasn't rallied that well and is a little bit of trouble, looking for 26,033 on the downside, new line. Italian MIB, new line. Sorry, it was the Italian MIB that I was looking at just then. Not the UK FTSE. Sorry, my microphone is really not working well with this transcript at the moment, so please refer to the video as well for some of these things. It seems to be just bouncing all over the place with the sound. Try a different microphone now. New line. New line. UK FTSE heading down towards 75.35 that we have had as a target for a little while. No, nothing to change here. New line. Shanghai A shares index, new line. We did think this had topped quite a dramatic way. It's still got trouble down towards 34.28. Stop loss should be at 34.62 if you are trying to buy a bit of this current support new line. Hong Kong Hang Seng new line. Have a stop loss at 19,491. This is weird. It's not been doing what China's doing. It's not been doing what the US is. What's more, doing a little bit more like the US is doing, but feels heavier than it should. New line. Be cautious on this one. New line. Japanese Nikkei new line. This has been doing screamingly good. It's forming a triangle now, so it's probably still got to drive towards 29,620 area, new line. Australian Share Price Index Futures, SPI, new line. Look down towards 70.67 on the downside at the moment. If it breaks 7,200, we've been looking for 70.67 for a while. A break above 7,300 negates what I feel with that. But at the moment, I wouldn't mind, like what I was saying before. I do think that we need a little bit of a shakeout, a little bit of a freak out. And the fact that it hasn't really moved since the PPI numbers kind of indicates they might want to bash it while it's less liquid, like in Australian market time, new line. Australian Share Price Index Futures, SPI internals, new line. Targeting 72.62 on the top side. New line. Maybe it fails up there, maybe they push it up, get a bit excited this morning and then just smash it back down rest of the day. New line. Let's see what happens. It should be interesting. I'll be talking to you in the ASX webinar shortly. Have a good one. Bye. I got the microphone working better too. I've changed microphones. These microphones play up all of a sudden for no apparent reason. I've got no idea why. Cheers, bye.